When Arabs and Europeans first came to the African continent and the Americas, they encountered the indigenous people, and they called them the backwards primitive savage. Now, these backwards primitive savages had gods that did not adhere to the Abrahamic God. So, of course, they were backwards, primitive, and savage. These backwards, primitive savages had gods of the air. They had gods of the water. They had gods of the earth. And all these concepts were removed and they were replaced with an all-seeing God that told you if you do not follow him, you will burn for eternity in hellfire. In 2019, the air pollution is at an all-time high. Power stations blow out unimaginable amounts of pollution into the air as we human beings breathe it in, not knowing the long-term effects of breathing in such filth. In 2019, the water pollution is at an all-time high. Sea mammals are having to dodge immense amounts of plastic within the sea. In 2019, the decimation of the rainforest is at an all-time high. Human beings chop down trees, pollute the environment, and then chop down more trees. Gods of the air, gods of the water, and gods of the earth. The backwards, primitive savages dared to deify the very things that gave them life. The backwards, primitive savages dared to see divinity within the very things that kept them alive. The backwards, primitive savages dared to live in harmony with their environment. The backwards, primitive savage was smarter than modern human beings. They knew that the relationship between humans and their environment must be a symbiotic one, a relationship of give and take, not just take. Only a backwards, primitive savage doesn't know how to live in harmony with their environment. Only a backwards, primitive savage pollutes the very air supply that it needs to breathe, pollutes the very water supply that it needs to drink, and the very earth that it needs to survive. As modern human beings intellectually masturbate over their advancements, the modern human is merely advancing itself into the hellfire that it's trying to stay away from. As we slowly but surely kill ourselves, the backwards primitive savage is looking at us, saying, "Look at those backwards primitive savages.